Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Buddha!
Yeah, I know. There you go.
Andang!
Hey everybody.
Terry Adwin!
Hi.
And Maven.
Hey, y'all.
And Buddha still has more to say. And this week we have the producer's letter and all that stuff, so let's get straight into the news, and we'll begin with the Update 19 title, which has been revealed. And what is the title to this new update?
Well, the title is March of the King, and it was actually first teased and, announced on Bloodborne's Echoes in the Dark stream, which, if you haven't listened to that yet, I do recommend it. It's a really good stream that he does on Sundays, and he had Quartermaster Yu on, who announced that it will be called March of the King.
It sounds like an appropriate title, considering what's supposed to be coming up next.
Indeed.
But of course, we didn't only have the title reviewed, we also had a producer's letter, which was giving us little snippets as to what is coming.
Yeah, that's right, Pineleaf. In the producer's letter, they talk about premium housing, new regions and quests, and class balancing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And Maven, if you could take this first paragraph here.
Oh gosh, can Pine do it? 'Cause I'm away from my
Pineleaf,
computer
you
for
got
just a
it.
second.
We are currently hard on work on Update 19, titled The March of the King. Our plan is to release the update in October. Update 19 will feature the last debate, along with the host of the West and its march through the North Ithilien, the debut of new premium housing in the Cape of Belfalis, a return to landscape questing, and a new rotation of featured instances. North Ithilien was once known for its gardens, and some call it the prettiest area in Gondor. That beauty remains even in the presence of the enemy. The overgrown and wild area still has many plants and flowers that are not found elsewhere in Middle-earth, and players can gather the flora found there to barter for rewards that will remain useful into 2017. We look forward to telling you more about Update 19 in the coming weeks.
So that's really cool. We're going to be having, some major story elements that tie in with some of the book stuff, and having Aragorn start to head in the northerly direction.
Right.
And also, we're going to be talking about some of the other stuff in a bit, but they do mention this basically flower plant collection system.
Whatever. That sounded weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for rewards, right? They're like tokens. The flowers are going to be like tokens, right? That we can barter with.
Right, and you can get like different colored things and stuff like that. These plants are very prevalent, at least currently on beta, at least the part that I was looking for them at. There were quite a few in this one area where I was actively looking for them, and maybe quite a lot all over, I don't know. But it's kind of weird. It just gives you like barter items once you right click on it, so it seems like it's not anything that's that special. I don't know why it made the producer's letter.
Oh well.
Anyway, they do continue on saying, premium housing brings vastly more hook points, the ability to own multiple houses, a fully revised housing UI, and more. Current homeowners can continue to enjoy their dwellings, and we remain committed to supporting classic housing in the future. So they have
but
this...
they haven't been supporting it much in the past.
Man, Pineleaf, shots fired. All right, wow. So yeah, they are introducing a new housing system and stuff like that, and we're definitely going to save that towards the end, because we're going to have a lot to say on that, and so that's going to be probably the last thing we talk about in the news section at least. Maven, can you now take the next one?
Oh,
Third paragraph.
Excitement is rising in the studio as the story progresses towards some very enticing story moments and some very interesting regions. Looking past Update 19, we are looking forward to exploring the foreboding lens of Daggerlad, experiencing the Battle of the Black Gate, and perhaps even meeting a very well-known riddle and magical accessories fan. We've hinted at the possibility of bringing you to Mordor in a full expansion, and will be continuing to work through the process in the coming months. Boy, that's a tantalizing paragraph, isn't it?
Isn't it though? Yeah, no kidding. I mean,
Wow. Looking
Daggerland.
past Update 19. So we're talking about not getting to the Battle of the Black Gate until after Update 19.
Right.
Well,
Interesting.
they did. I
She
thought it was
did,
pretty
she did,
clear.
no. Vivian did say 2017 for that, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah, and so my guess is that those two things will be in the spring update, and then we'll be potentially getting an expansion in the fall.
Well,
I still
the
say we're going
Black
to see Tears
Gate.
Ungol this year.
Well, let's see. It depends on whether I guess the Mordor expansion would be
Right,
post-apocalyptic. Yeah.
Yep, it depends on what timeline the expansion is going to be at, and the Battle at the Black Gate could be part of the Mordor expansion. So,
So,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
because the Black Gate is the.
or it's possible they could start the battle, have us go hundreds of miles throughout Mordor, and then come back and say, "Okay, now it's time to end this
I
battle."
think even for a turbine, that's a bit of a stretch.
Maybe Pineleaf, but they have
No,
played
we're gonna
around. They have played around with the timeline and switched out events before, like the Rangers, for example, with them arriving with Aragorn. So,
Well, yes, but that's something that I think works by how they're telling their story. I'm not too sure what you just mentioned would fit that.
well, thank you for your vote of confidence, Pineleaf. So, and then also they do tease Gollum in this as well. So now we've had Shelob teased and Gollum teased in the upcoming stuff. So they are liking their vague teases of well-known characters, it seems.
Right. All right, Terry, can you read this last paragraph, or are you...
Are you debilitated?
Yeah, I got it. We're also aiming to address some of the things you've been urging us to work on. Lag in large encounters is a top priority. We are working on changes to the burglar and hunter class to make them more competitive. Yay! We are also looking to fix more bugs and some quality of life improvements, and improve some of our festivals to keep them interesting and fun. It remains a pleasure to help guide the LOTRO team through our journey in Middle-earth, and we look forward to celebrating all things Tolkien with you for a long time to come.
So
It's
this
interesting because the article says that they mentioned Bjorning changes, which they don't actually mention Bjorning changes in the producer's letter.
Well, they do mention it in the patch notes.
It's in the patch notes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say
And I
about the
may
bear?
have cackled evilly when I read it last night.
What are,
certain Bjorning
are they
skills-
nerfing the bear?
certain Bjorning skills will be made line of sight, and I went, ha 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 ha.
Well,
Oh.
what?
So in
I
other
didn't
words,
know
they
I
actually have
thought
to see their target. Yeah.
I thought that all their skills were line of sight anyway.
No, they have a bunch of AoEs that aren't line of sight.
Yeah, I didn't know either, Pineleaf, but apparently they're going to be changing that.
Nerf the bears. Nerf the bears.
Well, seeing I don't think I've ever taken advantage of... Well, that might be why it was so squishy, was because I was never taking advantage.
There you go. You never took advantage.
All right, then let's head into some videos, and we'll begin with North Ithilien.
Yes, Pineleaf, I took a look throughout the beta and looked at North Ithilien, and it's kind of, basic. There are some really standout parts, like a real hidden ranger camp, for example, and
Ooh.
some other cool things. But for the most part, it seems like, a bunch of ruins and forests and things like that are just basically along the way for Aragorn's path towards Mordor. And so it seems like one of the lighter zones that's really just a travel area between two places more than a fleshed out zone in and of its right, which I think part of the reason it seems more so that being the case is because recently we've had these just gigantic updates with, Minas Tirith and Pelennor Fields and, these huge epic set pieces and things like that. And so we're finally, returning to a sort of travel region, and it's kind of nice actually to have this change of pace. I think it'll be nice moving forward. So
Besides, let's face it, if North Ithilien was full of towns, cities, and huge settlements, it would be a little bit on the lore-breaking side.
Right, Christopher Tolkien would really be trying to resurrect his father at that point.
Yes.
So, there was also a lot of after the battle stuff that was added with Pelennor Fields and Osgiliath, and in fact, this entire new area of North Ithilien you can only get to by being in the after the battle version of Minas Tirith. It's all connected through that horse port that you have to take.
Well, that's because they're forming the fourth region now because we've had three regions. When I say, I can't remember if there's another word besides region for it. I know when I talk about that, I mean like Eriador is one of these big regions. Second was Ravana, third one was Gondor. So this is the start of the fourth of these big areas, and that is Mordor.
Yeah, and the Dawnless Day being gone in these areas that we've been to before is just absolutely amazing.
Ooh,
and
Ithilien should look much better with sun.
Oh, Osgiliath looks fantastic with the sun. I cannot get over. There are just some absolutely fantastic shots of Osgiliath, and they have those vertical clouds that were in like Western Gondor back here as well as part of this part of Gondor, and so it just feels like everything just seems much more epic and larger and more grandiose. And now that you can actually get far enough away from Minas Tirith in the Pelennor Fields area, you can really see Minas Tirith in all its glory in the sunlight, and it's just absolutely fantastic. They really outdid themselves on this, and it really makes me wish that Tolkien never wrote about the Dawnless Day, because we would have a lot more beautiful areas if that was the case.
Oh, well.
And speaking of those different regions, the Mordor map was actually also released as part of this update, although none of the landscape of Mordor was released.
Well, as I said, they are treating the new landscape areas as part of Mordor because I think it's because they're all connected continuously, and that's how they're doing it. And if you want to be super technical, Ithilien is, during the time of the War of the Ring, considered Mordor rather than Gondor in any case.
Yeah,
because,
that is definitely true.
Yeah, but since it's disputed territory, obviously you could treat it as either side.
I mean, through part of the war, Osgiliath is even disputed territory. So.
Osgiliath changes hands more times than Alsace and Lorraine. There's like.
Your references finally. All right, so they do show a fairly sizable area that is actually fleshed out a bit on their map. It hasn't been colored and things like that, but they have the basic form in the on the satellite-esque map of Mordor, and what looks like is possibly what will be the landscape that we're getting with the Mordor expansion.
And when I look at this looks like to me the map of Mordor, of the interior of Mordor, looks. I think it's post-destruction Mordor.
It's possible. It's
because
possible.
that pool of lava looks post. That pool of lava.
Well,
looks
there
post-destruction.
were. I actually looked this up. There were lava flows leading up before and after the ring destruction. So.
Yeah, but that lava flow looks like like the one that Sam and Frodo were trying to escape from.
Well, and it's also possible that that could be closed off or not fleshed out yet.
Yeah, we'll find out. We shall find out when we get there, which is probably going to be sometime around 2017.
But it's interesting to see the map fleshed out and to see some of the changes of the landscape they did. But it seems very accurate, just on a lot more condensed scale.
Yeah. And anything else on the videos you wish to discuss?
Not before we go to housing. So I think that's pretty much everything. Does anybody else have anything else to add?
All right, then I guess it is time to talk about the Bay of the Phallus housing area.
Terry, why don't you start us off?
Right. Oh, I was going to start off by saying this is luxury housing at a luxury price.
Yeah, luxury housing at a luxury price, because they're not only can you buy them for Mythril coins, the upkeep is Mythril coins, unless you're VIP, at which point it's free. I actually really love the new housing area. I was in beta last night. I spent the last hour of the field trip going, darn you, Boror, update now! Update faster, update faster, update faster, like for an hour.
Yeah, now I'm
And
making
it was a half hour
references
until after
inside.
the field trip ended, before it finally finished and I was logged into the game. And so, yeah, spent, I don't know, an hour and a half or so wandering around the area. Pineleaf was already there and he was giving us comments on it, so that didn't really help anything.
It is a surprisingly big housing area.
It's huge. And the houses are similarly enormous. I mean, they're a little bank vaulty for me.
Yes.
But, you know, if you're going to have a summer home in the Hamptons, which in this case is the Cape of Belfalis off the coast of Dol Amroth, you know, I guess the bank vault motif is okay. And then Pineleaf bought one and put some fish trophies on the wall, and then it looked way less like a bank vault. So, pro tip, decorate your premier house with fish trophies. And it won't seem like a bank vault.
I got loads of those, no problem.
I think it's mostly because the windows are in the ceiling, so the couple of interior rooms that you have don't have windows, so they look kind of like prison cells, except prison cells actually get windows.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people asking for, windows to be added, or, balconies, or some type of thing that allows it to be a bit more open feeling.
Something, yeah. Well, there is sort of a balcony loft thing going on, even in the smaller houses.
Well, what I'm really amazed by is that there are some domes in some of these houses that have like full grass areas inside, and I mean it is pretty cool.
And I noticed that they take yard furniture rather than yard decorations rather than housing decorations in those areas.
Mm-hmm. That is true. And can we talk about the increased size of one of these? I don't remember what it's called, if it's huge or gigantic or whatever it's called. But one of these slots is enormous, yes. And it is just... I zoomed out on my camera. I could barely zoom out far enough to see the whole area. I mean, it is a huge thing.
Yeah, they've been available in kin houses already. But before, you could only get them in kin houses. But now even the smallest houses have them.
Yeah. Which really shows the scale of this area, I think. And then there's also kin house islands.
Yeah.
That you can actually take boats out to and back
from.
They
need to add a beach to those. Needs a little sandy beach area to throw your barbecues.
I mean, that is really cool, being able to have your kin own its own island, essentially, in LOTRO. That is just really cool. But it does come at a cost.
Yeah.
If you want that type of a kin house, it's essentially $120 in Mythril coins a year if you're buying the top bundle of Mythril coins. So the most efficient route is $120 a year, essentially. Unless you are VIP, in which upkeep doesn't cost anything. Now, that is on the kin house, so that is kind of, a high-end type of thing. What I'm worried about is, first of all, we should mention that these are beta prices. They're subject to change, all that stuff. I really hope they don't stay the same. If they do stay the same, all of a sudden, I think people will start having their kin leaders hit everybody up for money, trying to get their kin house to be paid in rent, and that is just something that I never thought would be happening in an MMO. Especially when they, really don't like gold sellers and things like that, because now all of a sudden you're going to be having to upkeep your kin house with real world money or pay VIP. So that's kind of crazy. Also, for the least expensive house currently on beta, it's essentially about $50 per year in Mithril coins. And that seems pretty steep to me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, like the initial mithril cost for the housing strikes me as perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's a premium house for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the upkeep should still be in mithril coins. I think
Exactly.
it's outrageous.
And you mentioned it's a premium house for a reason. Well, exactly. It shouldn't be a VIP house, which is essentially what they've created. It's really should
Right.
be called VIP housing, because they are, essentially creating this, mithril coin-based subscription model that's like a sub-subscription model of the actual subscription if you don't want to pay the subscription. And it's just a very weird system, and it took a lot of people off guard. First of all, just the fact that there was housing added to this took a lot of people off guard at first, and so people got excited. And then they saw the ticket price, and that turned it to the exact opposite of excitement for a lot of people, I think. And don't get me wrong, I think they did a great job fleshing out this neighborhood and just creating a really cool area. I mean, there's boats going all over around this cape and throughout the bay and everything, and it's just really cool to be able to look out from your house and see the sea and see, all these boats going all around all over the place. And it's just, the scale is amazing, and it's beautiful and fantastic and way better than normal houses, but it's way too expensive with that upkeep cost in Mithril.
Anything you wish to add on the matter? Maven, do you have anything to add?
Well, no, because I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I'm kind of speechless about the amount of mithril required. But
More
I'm with
mithril than
Terry.
all of Moria.
I know, and I'm kind of with Terry in the sense that I'm trusting you guys. Like, I'm sure I'm going to be blown away by the housing. So it's like, okay, the initial cost, I could probably get my head around, but the upkeep in mithril, I don't understand that at all. But then I'm thinking, if that's what they institute and then they back off from it, that's even going to cause more upset, because people that have done it, I don't know.
If it makes it to live, I feel
Yeah, that's
like
true.
that. One of the biggest problems I foresee moving forward with this is what happens if someday they end up creating another housing area that's a premium housing area. Because I know a ton of people who would love to have a Rohan housing area and
Right.
a Moria housing area, and
Right.
after Sauron's destroyed, that could be
A sea of ruin.
that
Yeah.
could be a very serious.
House in Mordor.
Well, I was just talking
Mordor, yeah,
about.
transition neighborhood.
I was just talking about that they'd have more time to go back to these other areas and create housing, but those ideas are cool too. So, I feel like that this is basically charging everything all at once with one single housing area, when they could have lower costs spread out throughout all these different housing areas. But you can own more than one house now at an outrageous cost if you really wanted to. Or if you're VIP and don't have to worry about the mithril coin cost.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's the other thing that kind of makes me laugh. It's like, oh, great, we get to have multiple houses, only they're premium houses. So great. So now you're talking about, double, triple the mithril count. That's thanks. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see it. It's going to be interesting, really, to see, people's feedback on this, I think. And it's
I'm
gonna,
sure
like
there'll
you
be
say, it's going to
plenty
be
of
interesting to see
feedback.
what happens when they go live. There's already been a little bit, because I was reading the forum that went with the, the notes. And I had to laugh because somebody complained about the fact that, they didn't fix the bear. And I thought, oh, Terry's going to love that entry. Somebody actually said, pay attention to the bear, don't neglect the bears. And I'm like, oh, Terry would have something to say about that one.
From what I've seen in response to my video, there have been 3 people who have been for the housing stuff. They said that they're, good with the mithril cost and good, or at least good with the subscription or whatever.
Right.
And they think it's a good system. Everybody else was negative on it.
I have something to say about the bear. Nerf the bear. Nerf
That's
the
a new
bear.
one, right? It's the new one, not Down with Bears, but Nerf the Bear.
Well, because Down with Bears has already been used as the.
That's right. We're past that.
And so, it'd be a horrible tragedy if they built this huge new housing
nobody
area
came.
and nobody, only a select few of players use it.
Well, I would expect that would certainly cause them to change. How
It
they
would,
use it.
and then that'll cause issues of backlash because their people will be upset about that, but they will also be paying less moving forward. So I think that they'd get over it fairly soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
Plus,
I
they'd
feel
probably make good. They'd probably do something to, ameliorate the people that have already bought houses. I don't know what they do.
Well,
Give them
it depends
give 'em a
because
fountain.
sometimes it won't be the first time in which, even in the real world, where usually when you're the first to buy something, you tend to pay more for it than anyone else. It's like, for example, most people who bought iPhones, the ones who bought it on
That's
the
true.
first day paid a lot
That's
more
true.
for them than the
That's
people
true.
who bought them later.
You pay the premium for being the early entrant.
Right.
But to me, this seems to be their biggest disconnect as far as pricing of things in the store from the player base, as this is their biggest disconnect from the player base that they've had in a long time, I think, as far as pricing in the store. Probably since the Warsteed colors. I mean, that's the last thing I can think of, aside from like the Epic Story being gated, which was around the same time inside the Helm's Deep expansion. That was kind of the last thing that I can think of that had just this incredible backlash on the pricing, where it felt like that they totally did not realize that players wanted to buy all the colors and were willing to, pay a lot more money if they could get all the colors for a decent price. But because it was so high, they couldn't get, all the colors. They had to just buy one pack and then buy a different pack for their steed because that requires a different one and have it all match that way. And so for a lot of people, it kind of ruined the Warsteed cosmetic system because it had this high barrier to entry. And I feel like that's kind of a similar thing here, where there's not going to be as many people that could take advantage of this that will be taking advantage of it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that and the hobby horse are really the only things I can think of that had been this controversial.
That's an interesting
the
sentence.
poor hobby horse.
Yeah.
It is an interesting sentence, yes.
Yes.
I found I say
of
a
all
lot
the
of
things
those.
in LOTRO. Of all
on
the
this
things in
show.
LOTRO, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm still sort of in shock, actually, I suppose. But I'm gonna download, but just because of the housing. I usually don't like to download and go into the beta just because I like to be surprised when the thing is first comes out. But I'm gonna download it now because I want to go see those houses.
And see, to me, at this point, I would be fine if they even just raised the price of the initial purchase and then got rid of the mithril upkeep stuff.
Yeah.
Or did something to make it, to where that
Or
you're
what,
not
with
having
NBA
to
gold
pay
for your-
till the end of time for this. And
Yeah.
then maybe give like VIP, I don't know if they can do this, but make VIPs have a discount or something like that.
Give VIPs a mithril coin stipend.
There you go. I like that. Or raise our monthly TP stipend so we can buy mithril coins that way.
Or that.
Yep.
Or something to where they could still have it be cheaper for VIPs, since they've kind of already started that thought process now, and then also allow it to be more accessible for other players.
Everything else we talk about tonight is just going to be like a, anticlimax. Anyway,
have we
I'm sure we'll be
covered
talking
every-
more about this as the weeks proceed.
Oh,
But
I am.
Anyway,
sure
if you want to hear me be even more animated than I am on the show tonight about this subject, then you can watch my video where I get really angry about it.
He really let loose on the
boy.
videos. He's exhausted tonight, so you're hearing him being exhausted after doing all the videos.
Yeah.
So you did multiple videos, right, about different
topics,
correct?
Yep,
I-
and they'll
Or
all
they
be
aren't.
in the show notes.
Awesome.
Then, speaking of turbine points and what you could do with them, the question is, are Mythic Coins on sale this week?
No.
Oh.
We haven't had a Metro Coin sale in a while, so here, hey,
I know
Turbine,
we need that.
Metro Coin sale, please.
Yeah, start now so we
But
can
this
start
week's
loading up.
free sample is a rapid crafting boost, one for 1 minute, times one. Use coupon code SOFAST1, one time per account. And 25% off some stuff that I've never spent turbine points on. Virtues, virtue bundles, trait slots, and skill and slayer D boosts. I lie, I've spent turbine points. Not my turbine points, but I spent turbine points to unlock trait slots on my mother's account.
But you know, if they made Hobbit presents only give Mithril coins from here on out, I think people would be much more okay with the housing changes.
You bet.
If they took out all of the useless junk that was in the Hobbit presents, like crams and power potions
Yeah.
and crams.
Yeah. They should open up a mithril coin exchange, you know, like a stock market
Buy
kind of
mithril
exchange,
coins
you
with
know.
in-game gold.
Or have
Or
a
we could
quest to
speculate.
defeat Lalia and get Mithril coins from her shop.
Yeah, from her shop. Or burn down Lalia's shop and get mithril coins. There you go.
Now you're starting to get to the evil side.
This is what
Well, that's not evil.
Turbine
That would
does
be
to
doing
us.
Bree a service. Just my opinion. But anyway. Or we could. I know, Terry. What could happen is, you know, you get mithril coins if you do if you do what you do out on the Barrow Downs, which is to go activate Lolly and then ignore her and let her die on the Barrow Downs.
Let her die.
Mithril
Let her die. Let the
coins!
stupid Hobbit die.
Or I know, if you don't save Sarah Oakheart in Fornos, you get mithril coins. I'm really good at that. I'm really good at not saving Sarah Oakheart in Fornos or other places. Anyway, sorry. I'm going
You're
off
starting
topic.
to get towards
starting
the
to go
evil
off
side.
topic.
All right, let's head into the site news, which is brought to us today by the Bay of Buphalis Homeowners Association.
Which is not an official sponsor, and we in no way endorse the practices that they are condoning there. But anyway.
Let us head into our community events for this week for September 23rd through the 29th. And looks like Killer Mark.
You got it, Pine Leaf.
All right.
Now just read through the rest of it and try to understand it.
Let's see. Grosser Killemark Zubri. So that would be the, what is it, greater marketplace of Brie, I guess? Or
Sure.
something?
Yes.
Obviously, this is something that's going to be on one of the German servers. Well, I hope it's on the German server because they're the ones who can understand it. And anybody find anything interesting coming up?
Well, on Monday, September 26th, you can have 11sies at 11sies on Crick Hollow at the Bird and Baby Inn. And basically you can just tell stories and share poetry and sing and dance or even eat. It's all up to you. You can play music solo or with the group. You can role play. And obviously the doors are open to folks of all shapes and sizes. So check out 11sies, which that really sounded a lot more like our sponsor. Anyway, they're not. But there you go. Check out 11sies this week.
All right. And Zinger posted a guide on restoring the regular map size with JRR UI skin.
Yeah, I saw Zinger wrote an article, and I was like, all right, I'm going to laugh today. And then I started reading the article, and it was a serious article. I mean, it was plot twist. I mean, man. Yeah, this is actually a really cool article and / guide that Zinger did about how to basically restore the normal map size, which is a big issue that I see, you know, even a lot of streamers have, where they don't restore their map size, and basically anyone who uses any type of UI modifications kind of need to know how to do this so that they can have a much more OCD friendly map.
Much more OCD friendly than that. All right, let's then head into Poems of the Pine, A Fellowship in Danger.
Dum dum dum.
We peeked into a mirror and peril we found. We must follow the fellowship and their fate discern. On a boat we rowed down the river's course into lands where lived the lords of horse. I was joined by 3 on the journey south. Nona the daring Dunlanding lass, Horn who hailed from the horse lord's realm, and Corridon our guide of the Galadrim elves. We followed the fellowship to the falls of Raros, where signs did show the shattering of the group. Some walked to the west, others wandered east. Which path can save our imperiled friends? We chose the west, but chance did show the fellowship was far ahead. We needed steeds whose strides were quick, if we're to hope to help our friend.
That's awesome.
Yay! That was a moment of silence.
Yes,
Moment of silent appreciation.
Oh, okay.
You weren't sure.
I was wondering if it was a moment of silence of mourning or something.
we were all asleep.
Yeah.
No. Appreciation.
Yes. Okay. Let's then head into our weeks in Lotro. And Maven, what
I'm
were
first.
you up to?
I'm number 1. Okay, so it was actually a pretty good week. I mean, I actually did some other stuff too that's not on here. But I ran Samuth Goal as a featured instance twice. 104 and 105 twice this week with different groups. So that was really interesting. And I'm sure other folks have done this, but running an instance like a 6-man, especially with different groups, very different, with different group dynamics and stuff, same instance. It was just a really interesting thing. Someday I'll write a treatise on that, I suppose. But it was just kind of interesting to see how different people approached the thing, how different people approached listening to the fellowship leader. That I'm sure Terry understands that. That was interesting.
People pay attention to them?
Well, that's it. They don't,
Sometimes if you're really, really lucky.
You'll have people actually listen. Yeah. So it was interesting. And of course with Samuth Gull, it was like, don't run over the bone piles. And all of a sudden everybody runs over the bone piles. So anyway. Okay. So then I also completed finally the Blood of the Black Serpent instance. Yay! And I squeed at the end. Anybody who has done that instance, what I'm talking about. You may not have squeed, but I squeed. It was awesome, and it was just nice to have it done. It was, that it's a really long instant for you guys probably know if there's other 3-man instances that are that long, but boy, that's a long instance. Jeez.
It's on the longer side, yeah.
But I've got to say, one of the funniest parts I think of the whole thing was there's a part you go into where I think they're elite mobs. It's for those of you that have done it, it's when you come down off the Ramas, you go into the big kind of courtyard area where the guy with his dog is at the other end, and once you clear out the first mobs, then he activates. But the first mobs, I mean, they're tough. There's 2 groups. There's one on the left and one on the right. So we go in, and the first time around, meaning before we wiped, the first time, the minstrel accidentally aggroed the second group while we were fighting the first group, so we died. Second time in, the warden also accidentally, activated the second group. And when that happened, both the minstrel and the warden died. But because my hunter is up to like 31,000 morale, she was still alive, although doomed. Okay, so I'm like, okay, what I'll do is I'll just run back to our spawn point and I'll lose them, right?
Oh!
So I'm running back to the spawn point. And I go up on the Ramas, and the warden is coming at me because he's retreated and he's coming back. And I'm like, incoming! And I look back, and of course, like Pineleaf just laughed. They're all behind me, all of them. Every single one of these guys is behind me. So we fight them on the Ramas, right above, where the spawn point is. And of course we die, right? Well, actually, let's see, I'm trying to remember how far down I think we took them all the way down to the spawn point. We fought them there, and then we died. So we're like, okay, great, we're dead. They're going to run off. They're going to go back. We'll go back and get them. And the minstrel who's on the stairs on the Ramas goes, guys, there's about 8 of them hanging around my dead body. So we're like, okay, so we thought maybe it was like a glitch or something. So we go up there, the 2 of us respawn, we go up there, and no, it wasn't a glitch. As soon as we got up there, they we aggroed them. So we fought them, and then the guys that had run back came back. He was like, "Oh, there's still a party, Steve. Let's go back." So anyway, that was a great experiment. Then on Friday night, oh my gosh, I needed Terry with me. I did a horrible thing on Friday night. So on Friday nights we have a kin open house, it's like a pickup, group. It's kind of like come and go from 7 to whenever, and we'll see who's there, and based on who's there and what we want to do, we'll go do stuff. So those of us that were in sort of the 50-60 range, we had tunes there. We had to go do Grand Stair, and we also had groups I knew coming up that were doing, that were at level cap, that were going to want to do like Samoth Goal or something else. So I was keeping an eye on Discord, and I was kind of keeping an eye on the kin chat to see who was in while we were doing Grand Stair. And we go in, and I took my minstrel in who's at 67, and he kept dying. I don't understand this, but anyway, so we go do the lava guys, and then we go down and we're doing the beast. And for some reason, when we finished the beast, I thought we were done. How many times have I run Grand Stair? Many. I have no idea what happened. I was like, okay, we're done. And not a single person said a word to me. I needed Terry, because Terry would have gone, Trish, we are not finished. Don't go. So what happened was a whole bunch of us left and switched over to our cap characters to go do cap stuff. And there were like a couple of my kiddies left in the instance going, why'd you guys leave? And I didn't see it until this morning in Facebook. I didn't realize until this morning I'd done that. I've been like beating my head against the wall all day. How could I do that? I knew we had other mobs. Anyway, big goof. I'm going to be paying for that for a long time. But so then we went and did Samoth Goal, and then we did the first part of Silent Street, and I got a really cool, updated current robe from my LM, which I now don't deserve for having done that on Grand Stair. Anyway, anybody who's listening who's with me last night, I apologize. This is why I should not be put in charge of things. So Terry Adwin, what did you do?
You actually reminded me that one of the things we didn't talk about in the update for 19 is featured instances are going to be swapping out.
Mm-hmm.
So Samoth Goal is one of the ones that will not be a featured instance
Right.
come update 19.
Right.
There's a whole list in the forward patch
In the
notes. But
notes.
anyway,
Can we talk about the switch out? Why are they having to switch these out why not just keep them in the pool and keep them
Or just do all of them and make the rotation a bigger rotation.
I mean, is there really a complicated technical issue? I mean, I don't
know.
understand.
There's probably some sort of complicated technical issue on the back end. I don't know.
But I mean, it is cool that they are featuring instances, and I do like that. So it is good on them for doing that.
They did featured instances that they would be swapping some out. So
yeah, they did. They
did. And they're not swapping all of them because.
Oh really?
No, Into the Forsaken is still going to be on the list.
Oh,
and
yippee.
OD Fear and Moonwing, I think, is still going to be on the list. Yeah, Forsaken.
Which one? What was the second one you said? Which was the second one you said it's going to stay?
Ostunhoth, Fear and Moons, the raid one.
Oh, yippee. The one we just did, right? The one we just did in Mythgard Adventures? Okay. Oh, yeah, easy.
Anyway, my week, I led the way through Galtref questing with Sanswinda and Maven.
That's right.
Including, we introduced Sanswinda to Rook, which was hilarious.
Love that. I love that.
It was great.
Funny.
I made her read the quest text out
did.
loud.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And then on Sanswinda and my Runekeeper, we decided that we were close enough to 95 that we were going to just go to Gondor and start Volume 4. So we did that and hit 95, and we're really close to 96, actually.
Boy, and not a moment too soon with Update 19 coming out. We got to get that girl to the Battle of Pelennor
VIP weekend, and I didn't get to play this weekend. I'm so bummed.
Frustrating.
And then Arkenstone Terry is moving fairly quickly through Eastern Rohan's Volume 3, helped along by her Light War Steed. She's the first champion I had on a Light War Steed, and I'm actually kind of really loving it, so I'm going to have to go back and do Light War Steed on my other Terry. So, Pineleaf, how was your week?
All right, I will begin with the Arkenstone field trip, where in our field trip we decided to study turtles, especially big, gigantic turtles that have eaten mysterious relics from the past.
Pineleaf, I'm not surprised in any way that that's how you phrased what you did. That is so you.
And then during a skirmish that I was running, where I was running Assault on the Ringwraith's Lair, and so I was doing a solo run Assault on the Ringwraith's Lair, but it was set to 6. So I, doing a little irresponsible skirmishing to get some lieutenant deeds worked on. And during that time, I drew the Brothers of Destruction and the Courage Breaker at the same time. So I've got 3 Brothers of Destruction pounding on me. At the same time, I got this Will Breaker and Courage Breaker all pounding at me at once.
Ouch.
Yes, ouch is the right word. I'm surprised I got through that one, especially because when you get stunned when you're about to do something to heal yourself, it's a real pain. And then I took a long tour of the Cape of Galfalis housing area and saw all that the area has to offer, and real beautiful place as explained before. And I actually also went through all the quests in that area, since there are all these little fun little quests you could do. And that was my week in LOTRO. So let's go into our news beyond LOTRO, where the Adventures in Middle-earth Player's Guide has a review. And who reviewed it?
Draculetta, of course. He came out of the coffin and reviewed this player guide. That's what happened. And
Yes.
if you're interested in this, you can check it out.
All right. Free people love the North.
Pineleaf, are you interested in this?
What, the Adventures in Middle-earth?
Yeah, are you going to get one?
I haven't decided on that matter yet.
I have it.
Yeah, because it's the thing
Do you?
about...
Yeah, I have the PDF.
Yeah, if I had a regular D&D group, then yeah, I would definitely be getting it. But
Okay.
all right, then let's go to Sigmund University's annual fundraiser, and Griffith run to his marathon on Sunday.
Yeah,
would-
so should I talk about that? I should probably talk. Who should
yeah,
talk
sure,
about
sir.
that?
Yes.
That's an amazing thing.
It's a maven thing. Well, it's a maven thing as far as like knowing, like I don't know what, being involved in it. So the Signum University annual fundraiser has already started. It started on Bilbo's birthday, and they've put together some really good. I was looking at the link is in the show notes, and you can also get to it by going to signumuniversity.org and then click on the donate button on the far right of the navigation and go to events, fundraising events, I think it's called. There's a list, and it's interesting because this is, I'm thinking non-LOTRO people are looking at this going, what's going on? Because there's a lot of LOTRO related stuff in it. But of keynote, so there's other things as well. So I do recommend that you go look at the events, because there's other token related things, and also just like Corey's going to do a session on a short story by Isaac Asimov, and I mean there's other things going on. But as far as LOTRO is concerned, this week is a biggie. Next Saturday, Grifflet the Hobbit, also known as Corey Olson, the Token Professor, is going to run in one sitting. He is determined to go, and this is a fundraising event on Twitch. He's going to, on LOTRO stream, by the way. We're doing this on Turbine's Twitch channel, running from Durin's Threshold to out the other side to Dimril Dale, following the epic. Now, those of you who are following Grifflet may say, how's he going to do that? Because he's just finishing up book 14 of volume 1. Well, Monday night of this week, on a special night, we've reserved the time on LOTRO stream starting at 9:30, which is Corey's usual time to sit down, 9:30 Eastern time, server time. He's going to actually finish all of volume 1. This is what he says. Okay, I'm just saying what he said. I'm trying not to even inflect my voice when I say this. So, and silly me, I volunteered to have my Cappy stand by to like summon him places, because there's a lot of coming and going in that book, even though some of them are like automatic ports. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay up to port in places, so we'll see. But if he makes it through all the way through Volume 1 on Monday night, then on his regular stream on Friday, he's going to start Volume 2. He's going to do the prologue and the first Watcher instance, the one that you run away from, so he can get his LI. Then he'll work on getting that, doing the leveling up bit off camera, so that when he starts on Saturday morning, he gets to do the second Watcher instance and then start into Moria. So that's the plan. Now, this is a fundraiser, and we're going to have a goal. I think our goal for the marathon that he's going to do on Saturday is $5,000. If we hit that goal, if we get $5,000 in donations and pledges, he's going to follow that up later on in the marathon with a Wiggin-thon, which is this is his first character, and it's the one he runs on Mythgard Adventures on Tuesdays. And Wiggin is about to get his war steed. So I think this is going to be a very comic event to watch Corey on his Guardian
Actually,
get his war steed.
That particular event is not because of the war steed, but there is a section that's leading up to the war steed that I have been wanting to ask Corey about for a long
I think I know what you're talking about, Bunny.
Yeah, I think I do too. Yeah.
Time.
Yeah. So this is going to be our chance. Yeah.
Yeah, because I could finally talk to him about it because he's finally
because
going through it.
we're kind of like, gripping the sides of our seats, waiting for him to get there. And the thing that's cool about this too is I'm hoping, like you say, there's the lead up to it, and then also, hopefully other stuff that you do right there once you get your steed. Hopefully he'll do some more stuff, because this is going to be the first time he's gone into Rohan. I don't think any of his characters have gone into Rohan, so this is going to be really interesting. So hopefully we'll make our goal, and then we'll do that. So then, besides that, between these two marathons, there is a non-LOTRO, but probably a very interesting thing for folks to attend if you want to, on October 3rd, which is next Monday, right? Not this Monday, but a week from Monday. Yeah. We're going to be, Dave, I think Dave's going to be there, but for sure I will be, and Corey. We're going to have a sound film project conversation with Ted Naismith. If you know who Ted is, he's an artist. He did the illustrated Silmarillion. He's done a lot of Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion illustrations and paintings. Really super
he's
guy.
He's the only illustrator that Tolkien's
that Christopher,
family, or Christopher Tolkien actually bought from.
Yeah. So he's really looking forward to sitting down and talking to us, because we're going to sort of like talk to him about how we've been adapting the Silmarillion, to be a TV show, and just get his thoughts on it and stuff. So it'll be a great conversation. That's on the 3rd. That's a Monday night. And then on the 13th, of special interest to LOTRO players, and this is something Corey's been wanting to do forever and never had a chance to do. Corey's going to sit down with Maid of Lions, and they're going to have an epic conversation. So that's going to be really interesting, because Corey's always wanted to sit down with Maid of Lions to talk about the epic story, and so this is his chance to do it. And Maid of Lions is, I guess, on board, because it's a done deal. It's going to happen on the 22nd. So anyway, so that is there are more details on the site, and I believe you can register for any of these things, and it'll be really fun. So we'll keep you guys posted. We're also going to do, during the actual webathon itself, which is, we do a thing on the last day, which is the 30th, which is we do like a long day of different things. And the LOTRO section that day is a makeover of Grifflet to now go into, assuming he's made it to Dimmeldale, he now needs new outfits to go to Lorien and to Mirkwood. So the girls of Middle-earth are going to help out with that, hopefully led by Terry, if we can make the time work out. She has something she's got to do during the day, but hopefully we can make it so that Terry can be there, because she's our lead cosmetic person. And we're going to dress Griffith up like a flower, probably, right? So he can go to Lothlorien, and they won't. He's a burglar.
Plan.
Yeah, he's a burglar, so they'll just think he's a flower. They won't even know it. So anyway, so that it's really exciting. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Please spread the word. I think a lot of this stuff, like the conversation with Maid of Lions, I think could be really interesting to even non-LOTRO players.
Oh yeah.
So please spread the word, and let me know if you have any questions about it. I'm done. I'm finished.
We currently have 23 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us here on LOTRO Players News. And this week we don't have any feedback, but if you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotra Players @LotraPlayers, Andang @AndangLP, Carvet @CarvetLP, Maven Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. Every Thursday at 8:30 p.m.-ish U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And on the last weekend of each month, we have LOTRO Academy After School. The exact time is currently in flux. We have already had the September show, but the October show, we will announce when that will be. And thank you everyone for listening. This is Piney Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.